What's going on YouTube? Flashy here and welcome back to another Apex Legends video. I'm not gonna lie, it feels pretty weird saying that considering it's almost been a year since our last Apex video. But last week, Season 4 began and I decided to jump back in for the first time in a very long time. Honestly, what made me re-download the game was actually the cinematic for Season 4 and Revenant overall. I was so impressed with his character design and the choreography of the fight scenes in that trailer that I just had to check it all out. Safe to say, after a few games of getting my aim and movement down again, I was hooked. The new map, the way the weapons feel, and the pacing of the gunfights was so addicting and I haven't been able to stop playing. So with all that being said, let's get into my thoughts on Season 4 of Apex Legends. First, I want to talk about World's Edge, the brand new map in Season 4. At first, I thought it was just way too big and I could never find anybody. However, as I played more and took the ranked games more seriously, I started to learn the better rotations, whether that's for loot or catching enemy teams in a choke point from the storm. And with this brought a whole new level of enjoyment to the map for me because honestly, I was starting to get these high kill games with super intense end circles that have me and my squad mates just screaming panic calls at each other to try to secure the win. But another thing that I really enjoy about this map is that there's a really nice mix of long-range sniper and scout rifle fights with up-close R99 and Peacekeeper kind of strafe battles, which always keeps things different and unique and makes you kind of rock different loadouts, which I like a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some parts of matches that I feel like I'm just running for miles and miles with nothing going on at all. But one way World's Edge makes up for that is by providing a ton of mobility around the map. There are plenty of balloons, zip lines, and even a train that can get you and your team out of any situation. This all works especially well if you have characters like Wraith or Pathfinder in your squad as well. And finally, my last note about the map is that I really like how there's tons of different landing opportunities. You can do something fun that's an all-out panic brawl on Mirage Voyage or any kind of hot zone, or you can take the game nice and slow and focus on looting and rotating properly with minimal engagements. Next, I want to talk about the brand new character, Revenant, and some tips that I've learned with him over the past 2 weeks or so. I mean, everything from his backstory to his look and his voice and even his finishers are all just so badass. I mean, Respawn really knocked it out of the park with him. And I know that's kind of a hot take by saying he's the best designed character in the game because a lot of the characters in this game look really good, but the second I saw him, I was like, I need to play as that character and I need to be disgusting with him. But I'm not gonna lie, it did take some time to get used to him, and I spent a lot of games saying that I'm never playing him again and that he's terrible, but eventually everything just clicked. I figured out a way to use his kit and match it really nicely with the setup that usually always nets me some high damage games. First, I want to talk about his passive, which is actually my favorite part of his loadout. He gets both increasing climbing distance and increased movement speed while crouching. Now, both of these actually have way more utility than at first glance. In Apex Legends, you are completely silent when crouching no matter what character you are. So when you can fly through a building really quick, faster than any other character while you're crouched and nobody can hear you, it gives you an opportunity to get a really good jump on the enemy with a Peacekeeper or an SMG or something like that. Another benefit to this increased crouch speed is that healing while crouched is an absolute game changer. I almost can't even play another legend anymore because I won't have this. You can heal and be strafing from cover to cover or going upstairs and into a room to fully heal up. You just move so much quicker while healing, and I've even had moments where I've outran the storm just by crouching and healing. So it definitely works out a lot better than you would think, so definitely try it out and try to use it as much as possible. Another thing the crouch strafe is also great for is close range combat. I can't tell you how many times I get into a strafe Peacekeeper battle one-on-one and the person doesn't even hit me once and I'm able to just completely crack their purple shield and take down the rest of their health with a couple of Peacekeeper shots just because I'm such a small target moving so quick back and forth, and most people aren't accustomed to this increased movement speed while crouched, so they might either overcompensate or undercompensate their shots, so it always helps out. Now for the climbing distance, I can't count how many times an enemy would be on the top floor or a roof and they think they're safe and I just climb all the way up behind them while my teammates are shooting them in front. They don't even know I'm there. I'm climbing up 3 stories and I get a free Peacekeeper shot on an already wounded enemy because my teammates were engaging them from the front. Also, when it comes to disengaging in certain situations, being able to climb all the way up a building or up to some hidden perch to heal comes in so clutch. I can't even count how many times I'm running away and I'm able to just get up a building, get onto a balcony, get into the second floor, make my way up to a roof, jump off the roof. Like, there's just so many mobility options to just get the heck out of a situation just from being able to climb farther. And you can even match this with your crouch walk because the enemy that's going to be chasing you has no idea where you are and you're just flying like a spider up a building or up a corridor, wherever you need to get to. And again, it comes in super clutch. So I really like the benefits of his passive just all coming together for all situations, whether it's an offense, defense, just maneuvering around the map, getting somewhere, getting some loot on the top floor or anything like that before someone else gets there. It all works out really well. Next, we're going to be talking about his ability, which is an explode on impact trap that silences enemies for 10 seconds from using their abilities. Now, this has a number of different uses. You can utilize it to start an engagement, to finish an engagement, to block off enemies. My favorite way to do it is the latter, to block enemies from coming through doors or anything like that. So for example, when there's a hot drop and multiple people are landing at your building or at a door, you can literally just land, shoot the ability down at your feet, and the door is just unaccessible by anybody. Usually they'll just get hit by it. Most characters like Wraith or Pathfinder or anything, they'll just start to panic because they can't use their ability anymore. So they just turn around and leave, and you just have that entire building to yourself. Furthermore, if you are able to hit the enemy and get that 10 or 11 damage, whatever it is, you're starting off the fight with an advantage. This gives you an opportunity to run, find an alternator, or even a Mozambique or something on the ground, and you're already hitting an enemy that's wounded. He's at like 90 health, his screen is all messed up, he can't use his ability, so it's a really good way to get those early game kills. Another thing I like to do with his ability is sneaking up on enemies with my crouch walk, again going back to that passive, and starting a fight with his ability, because again, as I kind of just alluded, the enemies are going to be so disoriented, they're not going to know what's going on. All the Wraiths, the Pathfinders, the Gibraltars, they're going to be wanting to spam their keys and their abilities, and they're not going to be able to do so, so they'll be panicking, and they're just going to turn around and run away, and at this point, you can have your teammates just shoot them in the back with a sniper, an R3, whatever you guys have, and you just automatically have the advantage. Another thing that happened to me, which I actually started using against other people, was I used to play Wraith a lot before I played Revenant, and anytime a Revenant would silence me, I would just be panicking and smashing my Q key to try to use my Wraith ability to get out of there, and it wouldn't be working, so I would look down at my keyboard for even the slightest second just to see if I was pressing Q properly, or I'd look down at the bottom left of the screen to see why my ability's not popping, or whatever the case may be, and by that point, I'm already downed. I took my eyes off the screen, I took my eyes off of where the enemy is and where I need to be shooting, and they got the kill on me. So again, this ability just comes in super clutch. It's a great silence. I mean, the perk of it alone is amazing, but the fact that it just disorients the enemies and makes them into a frenzied panic works out really well in your favor. And finally, we have Revenant's ult, the Death Totem. The Death Totem essentially gives you a free bar of life up to a certain range. After you pop the totem, you cannot get killed, nor can your shield get depleted. Instead, only your health bar is affected, and when it reaches all the way down to 1, you get teleported back to the totem. Now, this is something that while you're learning this character, your teammates and even yourself will get a bit angry. It's tough to initially figure out how to use this with maximum efficiency, but going back to what I talked about in the beginning of the video, which is pairing a loadout with a character's ability. For Revenant, I found that dropping the totem at high ground and away from the enemies, proccing it, and rushing in with an SMG or shotgun works best. What you want to do is try to get as much damage on them as you can while pinging their location for your team, and then after they deplete your life, you're just going to get teleported right back up to your totem, which you strategically place because the second weapon can be a sniper. And now that you know where all the enemies are because you were just up close and personal with them, you can take those remaining shots because they have no shields or they're in the process of healing or whatever the case is. So essentially what you want to do is rush in with a close range weapon because you have that free life, and then when you die, you're going to get teleported all the way back to your sniper position now, and then that's where you start picking them off and you keep pinging them for your teammates. That's how Revenant works best, because people that aren't playing Revenant might not utilize the totem to its best ability, again pairing it with an SMG or a sniper, or based on where you place it and things like that. And I'm sure the higher level teams and the squads that coordinate well will be able to get past this and get through this and utilize it to their best advantage. But if you're playing randoms or solo queues or whatever the case may be, you're pretty much just going to be wanting to use Revenant to be able to have full advantage over everything that's going on in the fight. So you're going to be pinging, you're going to be up close and personal, you're going to be sniping, you're going to have the overhead advantage, you're going to have the up close advantage. You're just going to be all over the field, just constantly being a menace to the enemies while your other two teammates are just peppering them with whatever they have. So again, it's little tactics like that that can go a really long way for this character. And one thing I've really enjoyed about playing Revenant is learning all these things. You know, it's taught me how to play Apex in a way that I never would, or any battle royale, ways that I never would. So that's why I really like Revenant, because he kind of made me stretch my skill gap a little bit. And through that, you know, I got better at Apex, and I started having a bunch of fun with a brand new character who I think looks really badass. Overall, I've been having a bunch of fun this season. Honestly, way more fun than I would have ever anticipated, because like I said, I think our last Apex video was 10 months ago, and that was way back just when Season 1 launched. I think I put out like maybe 1 or 2 Octane videos, and then I just stopped playing the game. But with the launch of Season 4, I've been hooked. I mean, I've been playing like 6 or 7 hours a day, I think, on days that I have a chance to, and just not being able to stop, because the grind is fantastic, the new characters are so fun, all the fights are so different, and they're just so exciting. And furthermore, leveling up the battle pass through playing the game and completing daily or weekly challenges has been a fun little meta game, all within grinding ranked with my close friends to see if we can get to Apex Predator. I'm really liking the skins for Legends and the weapons they're putting in the game. Also, it seems like I'm getting a ton of epic and legendary cosmetic items at a pretty quick rate, which is always good, whether that's through random Apex packs or whatever the battle pass has, wherever I'm ranking up. But the shining point for Season 4 of Apex Legends for me is definitely the release of Revenant. This legend has been a ton of fun to learn, and like I said before, he's forced me to play a playstyle that I never really thought I could accomplish and do really well in a battle royale or any first-person shooter. Now accompany this with a brand new map and playing ranked with friends, and I can honestly say that Apex Legends has found its way right to the top of my current rotation of games. But anyway, that about wraps up my thoughts on Season 4 and some tips for those of you that are trying to learn the new legend Revenant. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you want some more Apex content here on the channel, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.